Hey everyone, how is everyone doing? It's Casaverde here. Hope everyone's having a good one. So in today's video, I just want to talk about my personal, 5 pros and 5 cons for the Pocket. I already had this for a good amount of months now, so I've been playing with it. I kind of got my grasp on it. I'm sure a lot of my cons will be addressed in the future, but for right now, we're just going to talk about today in July 8th, what my pros and cons are. So this will be subject to change. These are just my personal opinions on how I feel about the product so far. Now, without further ado, thank everyone who's been subscribing. You are all awesome. If you haven't had a chance and if I earned your subscription today, please do all that YouTube good stuff. Please hit that like and subscribe, and let's get into the video. So, what we're going to talk about, like I just mentioned, is 5 pros and 5 cons. This is just my personal opinion on these things, so without further ado, let's just start talking about it. So I'm going to start with the pros. So, as many of you already can, if you don't know already, the screen is absolutely beautiful. Now that's one of my favorite things of the Pocket itself. It's just how it looks. It's a great size for Game Boy and Game Boy Color games. It is a perfect aspect ratio. I have no complaints with the screen. This screen is absolutely beautiful. It is really, really nice. And I'll just show it a little bit more and how it looks with some games. So let's just plug in, actually I can just do, let's just turn it on. And let's just go from there. So let's just do a ROM hack, and the best one to show would be a graphics. So these are games that were already modified just to have a better screen. Sorry, not to add color. So look, just to show you an example, it just looks really, really good. I cannot stress enough how good this screen looks. It is absolutely beautiful, and it is amazing when you get to play. All right, so my next pro is going to be the GB Studios addition to this. Now, this has allowed essentially people to add patches, IPS patches, to current games, and then you can just play it off of the pretty much the SD card. So if you look, I already have games here, a whole bunch. Now, anybody can do this with the IPS patch. All you gotta do is dump your ROM from your game, apply the patch, and you are good to go. I can go to the same game I just had. It was a ROM hack of it, and there it is. The exact same thing without having to have, like a flash card or anything. You can have just like, for example, a game by an EverDrive GBA one, or just one simple game. And okay, you just want to play something else, so then you go to GB Studios, and there you go. You can play just about anything, almost. I mean, the most popular games, not everything, not the entire Game Boy library is available, but the popular games are available on top of homebrews that are also available. So these are very cool. You can play some homebrews that would never, obviously not real games, other than just fan-made games like Papa Rappa. This here is obviously not a licensed game. It's not licensed by anybody, but it is a homebrew game. So that is awesome. That is definitely a pro. 100% in my opinion. You play all types of games, let me tell you. So that's obviously just limitations of this is going to be Game Boy and Game Boy Color games due to it being GB Studios and not, anything else. So now, what I want to talk about, the next one is going to be pretty much the 2-in-1 off the bat. You can play both Game Boy, Game Boy games, Game Boy Color games, and Game Boy Advance games. So right off the bat, it's kind of like pretty much buying Game Boy Advance, straight up. You have a Game Boy Advance right here in your hands. You can play both of them just like you would an original Game Boy Advance in a much better setup. In my opinion, I prefer playing it like this. I know some people like playing in the other direction as well. But right off the bat, you can play thousands of games. So and Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance games are very popular. Those are my personal favorite when it comes to, original handheld games. Obviously, I like, PlayStation and all the other stuff, but personally, I like these games. That's just a great one off the bat. Now, another pro, which is obviously an added benefit, is that it can play original carts. And not only can it play original carts, you can play most of the flash carts. You can play single-use flash carts. For example, if you want to create your own homebrew game and load it on one, you can play it off the bat. I've done that before, and I've done that with many different types of single-use flash carts. So I can tell you it works. A lot of the times it works with even the the bootleg ones from China. So I worked with those as well. I found very little compatibility issues, but for the most part it plays every single game that I have. So that's awesome. It plays literally just about almost every single game that I have. So that is amazing that it does that. Just showing you off the bat that it can play. This was originally a counterfeit game of Pokemon Crystal. And I ended up wiping it out, removing the game and uploading pretty much my own logo on it, which is a Accessory Prices logo, and then I just put it right there, and that's it. So that's pretty much exactly how it would work on an actual Game Boy Advance. So that's awesome. Plays original cards, plays modded cards, plays flash cards, single-use flash cards, some knockoff games. It plays it all. So that is pretty good. Obviously, there are some stuff that doesn't have, it's not like 100% compatibility. I had one issue with a GBA movie player that I have that doesn't work on this, but for some people it does work. So, experience on that varies, but it does carry over just about 99%, I would say, of games that you might have. So, for the fifth and final pro that I threw in here, and unfortunately I'm still waiting on my adapters, is the fact that they have adapters. So this offers you, if you can get it, this offers you the ability of playing playing a whole bunch of other games on one device. So that's pretty cool, and I think that is awesome. I can't wait to actually show that whenever it comes, but that is also a pretty cool thing, the adapters. Now, so we got the pros out of the way. I know it might have went a little too fast, I don't know, but now we have the cons. So I know people get a little touchy when I talk about cons, so please just bear with me. This is my opinion. Nobody take anything personal, please. So I would say the very first con is going to be the price. So right now, if anything, I'm going to just slide over to, I guess, the screen, that way you guys can see. So this is priced at $220. So this is a luxury item, I would say. Especially there are some other options that could probably cut it off by like $60, $80. There are other stuff you could do. So just drawing that out there. There are other stuff people can do if you want to still play these things. But the price is a big, something that can be put off, put people off. Now, also I wanted to mention too that my cons are mostly related towards Analogue themselves, so not specifically on the device, but it's related to the device specifically in a way that it just affects it a lot. So the price, that's sticker shock right there, can turn people away from it. That's my opinion. Now, when it comes to the price, you could get something like the Boxy Pixel right here. Looks very similar to the Boxy Pixel GBA SP Unhinged. I would say this could run you anywhere, I guess when you're finally done, maybe $150 roughly. You can get this for $60, the shell. You can get the screen for $35. Granted, you need to already have a SP. So just saying, there are also easier ways you can do is just replacing the screen, having that. And that right there will save you a lot of money if you just want a better screen. So the price, I could definitely, you know, put people off. So my second con is gonna be just the availability. So this has been really, really difficult for people to get. Let me tell you, it's just like, it still says pre-order out to 2023, and that's just crazy. That is literally crazy that it takes that long to get this device. And I understand, you know, global shortages and all that stuff. It's just, this is taking a long time. And, you know, obviously it's a first world problem. But that being said, availability is definitely a con that I see. Again, this is going back to Analogue themselves, not really the device. You know, there are some small little things that might bother me about the device, but there's nothing noteworthy as compared to just being able to get this device to people. That is an issue. All right, the next one is going to be the accessory prices. So not just obviously the price of the Analogue itself, the Pocket itself, but also how much it costs for an accessory. You're talking about like $100 just for one. Even the charging cables are overpriced. The screen protector is overpriced. You can get the same thing for like $8 to $10 on Amazon will work just as good. So the accessories and the adapters are, in my opinion, overpriced. But that's just my opinion. I know it takes a lot of work to at least do the adapters. I can give them the adapters. That part is obviously work. You got to put in a lot of work for that. But there's no reason why the screen protector has to be overpriced. Or the charging cables. Something like that doesn't have to be. There are other options out there. The next one I want to talk about are the flash card issues. Now, this one just affects me personally, and it's something that really bothers me personally. Is just the EverDrive issues that I've seen. And EverDrive isn't a cheap product itself. You're talking about an EverDrive GBX7 being somewhere about $125, $130. So that's not cheap. So when you buy that in anticipation of buying this and you can't even load a game, that's an issue. So I'll put that in. I got an IO error. This is the same error I've been getting for the entire time, and nobody at either side cares about this issue. So there's nothing that I can really do about it. What am I gonna do, right? So that right there is an issue. It's definitely the flash card. There's some other issues with people with occasionally if you don't have the right SD card on the Easy Flash. So I've heard issues of people having problems with the memory card. If you don't have a good SD card, it won't work with this. So there are some compatibility issues with flash cards. Also, that's just my complaint about it itself. And then my last con on this is gonna be not all the features are available. We're still awaiting, right now, it's July 8th, we're still awaiting the beta of version 1.1 of the of the OS, and that still hasn't come out, and these are features that were already discussed going back last year. So that being said, you know, we've already been waiting. I got this in December. It's already going on 8 months that I've had this, and I don't have all the features that were originally promised with the device. So they're very slow when it comes to rolling out updates on this. So just keep that in mind. I guess this is the pains of being early adopters to these devices, is that you're not gonna have a complete product like you would have back in the day because of these updates. Now you can just release something and it doesn't have to be complete. Back when the Game Boy Advance was made, yes, you had your revisions afterwards. Obviously, you went from the Game Boy Advance to the Game Boy Advance SP that had a backlight. But for the most part, the Game Boy Advance, the first one, that was what you got. There was no way to update that. Unless if there's a damage, something that was done, and you just have to send it back for repairs. So now it kind of gives them the opportunity of taking their time with these updates, and it's been very grueling to take your time. Okay, so that's pretty much my pros and cons. I have a bonus pro, which is just, you know, I guess more silly or anything else. It's pretty cool. The speakers are amazing. They get very loud. So that's an extra pro, in my opinion. So you can hear it is really loud. Another pro would be the save feature. That is amazing. You can really put that through its paces. Let me see if I can use one. Look, load save didn't work. But when it works, it works. So it's pretty cool to have the save state as well. I mean, like I mentioned, a lot of my cons can be addressed by the company itself. So that's not really cons on the Pocket itself. You know, device-wise, I really like the device. I really like its aesthetics. I'm sure there are some things that could be improved, but compared to the cons that I've personally mentioned, I think those other cons are more important than just some other cons you might see here. Yeah, it can get scuffed up easier. You know, I kind of have this here just to protect it. So this back does get scuffed up. As you can tell, see, it gets, just this itself gets scratched up. So that would definitely get scratched up. But all right, everyone. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. Please leave any comments, anything y'all want to see in the future. Let me know, and have a good one.